Welcome to Just Start Playing. Today I'll be teaching you how to play Just Run. This is a prototype copy of the game played on Tabletop Simulator. In Just Run, 1 to 6 players will be attempting to escape from the zombie hordes. However, there is only so much room on the helicopter for players to escape on. What will you do to be the one to escape? Here I have the game loaded in Tabletop Simulator. I'll also explain some of the variants that you can play, including a full cooperative mode. When you first get into Just Run, you and your friends will need to decide which mission you would like to play and any variants you want to add onto your mission. These are all found at the back of the rulebook. During the game setup, you'll need to place the 5 start tiles all adjacent to each other like this, with open doors between each tile. When you place down the exit tile, you need to have at least 5 spaces between the exit tile and the starting tile for a total of 7 across. All the exit cards should have been placed in a line like this, just like the start row cards. One of these tiles will have the exit on it. Each player collect all these components here, including their figure, 5 dice, a flee token, a contagion token, and 6 health tokens to track player health. Players can then each roll a dice to determine who is the first player. Once the first player is determined, that player will need to place their figure into one of these 5 starting rooms. The next player would then place their figure. Players cannot share a room unless you're playing with 6 players, in which case the 6th player will share a room with one other survivor. Once you're set up, you're ready to move into the Scavenge Phase. Just Run is normally played over 2 phases, one being the Scavenge Phase and one being the Escape Phase. The Scavenge Phase is where players have an opportunity to gear up and prepare for their escape, and the Escape Phase will be players escaping from the building. This is where the majority of the gameplay will lie. During the Scavenge Phase, you will dish out scavenge cards to players based on the player count. If playing with 2 players like I am here, each player will get 10 scavenge cards. If you were to play with 6 players, players would only get 5 scavenge cards. I will now deal 10 cards to each player. There are several different variants on the Scavenge Phase. For your first game, you may just want to deal the appropriate number of scavenge cards to each player. Then players can discard cards down to their inventory space and get playing straight away. There are also several variants on this, including basic drafting, which is each player has a hand of the appropriate number of cards. Then players select 1 card and passes all their cards to the left. Continue like this until everyone has a full hand of cards. You also have the good luck method, which will let you jump straight into the escape phase and get playing straight away. However, players will need to loot all of their gear, so this is for more experienced players who feel like they can survive the zombie onslaught without any equipment to start with. And you also have a gear panic method, which lets players fight over handfuls of items using dice rolls and timers. I won't explain this method, but it's for the most experienced players. Let's go to a round overview. So, during Just Run, players will be attempting to reach this escape and escape in a helicopter. The helicopter will have room for half of the players playing in the game in the competitive variant, rounded down. So in a 5-player game, the first 2 players to reach the exit will successfully escape. During a round of Just Run, players will take turns taking 2 actions each, starting with the first player and going clockwise. Once all players have played 2 actions, it then moves to the zombie's turn. This will trigger zombie movement, zombie attacks, zombie spawns, and then play will go back to the first player and a new round will begin. Play goes on like this until the required number of people have escaped or everyone has died. Before going over the items in my hand, I'm going to explain some of the basic actions that you can do in Just Run. In Just Run, there are 14 different actions. I'll go through these from the most simple to the most complicated now. One of the first actions you may need to do in Just Run is to check the door leading out of your starting room. If you wish to do a check a door action, you need to be adjacent to one of these door symbols with no door placed on it. To check a door, you simply roll the dice and perform the results. 4 sides of this dice will have the door is open symbol like this. In that case, you simply put an open door in the space. 2 other symbols on this dice are, this was a blocked door. A blocked door is permanently malfunctioning and is unpassable other than by bashing the door open. Some items will enable you to bash a door, in which case you'll need to roll an attack versus the door and see if you're able to bash it open. You also have this locked symbol. Locked doors can be either unlocked by using the appropriate item or bashed open. Once a doorway is either opened or bashed, a new room is revealed on the other side of that door. Simply draw the top tile of the room stack and put it on the opposite side of the doorway. Players will now be able to move into this room and interact with these rooms. Another action survivors have is to move. To move, you just need to move through any open or bashed doorway or passage, and you can move from one tile to another. This will consume one of your 2 actions on your turn. If any zombies are in the room that you left from, you will trigger an attack of opportunity on your character. I'll explain that more later when I get to combat. Another action you do is to simply do nothing. This will also trigger an attack of opportunity if there is a zombie in your room, and this will consume one of your 2 actions. Another action you can do is to search for items in your room. If you do this with a zombie in the room, this will also trigger an attack of opportunity. Actually doing any of the actions in a room with a zombie will trigger an attack of opportunity from the zombie, other than attacking the zombie. The only exceptions to this are the free actions you can do after taking your 2 actions on your turn. These free actions do not trigger attacks of opportunity. To search, players can either select one of these supply cards from this deck. There are 4 different types of cards in this supply deck, ranging from whiskey, filthy rags, duct tape, and cardboard boxes. These are useful items that you may want to loot. If the card's available, you can choose to loot it. There's only a total of 2 copies of each of these items in the supply deck. The other option is to draw a search card from the top of the deck. Drawing a search card, these can have items, they can have events. These are a bit more random. Simply draw and reveal the top search card, and then either take the item or trigger the event based on the card that you draw. If it's an event like this one, it triggers immediately. This one would cause your turn to immediately end and all other players after you this round to lose one of their actions, unless they are equipped with flashlights. If you get an item like this one, you simply put it into your inventory if you have space. Otherwise, drop this item. Players can have a total of 5 worth of items in their inventory, and the amount of space they take up is listed in the top left hand corner under IN. This tool belt would take up 1 inventory space. You also have the option to throw an item. You can throw an item up to 2 spaces away, and when you throw an item, you'll need to discard the item from your inventory and then put one of these noise tokens in the corresponding room that you threw the item into this round. This will cause the zombies in the room that you threw the item not to move on their next turn. Another action you can do is to pick up an item in the room that you're in. Other players may have dropped items here, so you can pick those up, consuming one of your 2 actions on your turn. This will be done as a free action. However, it needs to be done after you take your 2 normal actions, just like all other free actions. Another free action or normal action you can do is to trade items. You select another survivor in the same room that you're in, and you can trade items with each other. Only the player triggering the trade will use an action when this happens. You can only trade a single item. I will now explain a bit about the items in your inventory. In your inventory, you'll have a range of different types of items. Some of these items will be weapons, like this one. The card will have a yellow strip down the right hand side, and a number in the top right hand corner indicating the extra attack dice you'll get to roll. This ice skate will add 1 attack dice if I used it as a weapon. It also has some items that I can combine this ice skate with in order to increase the strength of this item. Also, just above where it says ice skate, you can see the type of weapon this is. This is a flail weapon, and flail weapons get a bonus in combat, allowing them to win any tied combat dice. You can see this barbed wire item has a yellow strip down the left hand side. Items that match colours on the left and right can often be combined together. Barbed wire can be combined with some melee weapons to permanently add 1 pip to a single die during each combat action. An example of an item of which this can be combined with is this broken table leg. You can see if it was combined with the barbed wire, it would receive the barbed bonus. The barbed bonus is listed on the barbed wire when combining item. So if I was to combine this broken table leg and barbed wire together, the amount of space it takes up in your inventory is equal only to the weapon's inventory space, not the item combined with the weapon. So my barbed broken table leg only takes up 1 inventory space. The barbed wire can't be separated or reused after being attached. Remember, you can only have a total of 5 inventory space, and at the start of the game you will decide which items you wish to keep if you're playing a mode where you draw items at the start of the game. If I was to draw the barbed wire on my turn, and I didn't have the inventory space to hold it, but I wished to combine it with this broken leg, I would need to drop the barbed wire when I picked it up, complete my second action if I had one, and then I could pick up the barbed wire as a free action and drop a different item in its place. Dropping or picking up items are actions that can be done either on your turn as an action or as a free action at the end of your turn. The end of your turn is a good time to swap out items and combine items in your inventory. When you use any item on your turn for any use, you'll need to roll and see if it breaks or not. This includes using items like mirrors to look under doors, or attacking a zombie or wall with a broken table leg. After you use the item, you simply roll this dice and see if you roll this symbol. If you roll this symbol, the card needs to be turned 90 degrees sideways, indicate it's broken. Broken items can either be repaired later or discarded to make more room in your inventory. If you decide to drop a broken item, that item will be lost forever, and broken items cannot be traded, thrown, or combined with other items. If I wish to repair this broken table leg, I could potentially combine my extension cord here with duct tape, creating a repair kit. You can also have armor items. Armor items will have an AR listed in the bottom right corner, and this represents armor rating. Having armor will enable you to block attacks with your armor. When an armor item gets reduced down to 0 AR, the item is broken and turned 90 degrees sideways. If I was to encounter a door that was either locked or barred, or passed through a solid wall, I could either make the bash in a door or bash in a wall action. These both work in similar ways. With doors, I will set this door to be locked. If I encounter a locked door and wish to bash it open, I can attack that door. Attacking the door normally will let you roll 2 dice from your supply, and the door always rolls 1 dice in defense. I will then roll all the dice, and if I roll higher than the door amount, I will successfully destroy that door and change this locked marker into a bashed symbol, indicating that this door is now being bashed and cannot be locked or open again. If I roll my 2 dice and I roll less than the wall, the door remains locked. You can use weapons to attempt to bash open doors that have the door icon down in the bottom left hand corner, like this broken table leg. This will let me add 1 attack dice to my attack against the door. However, flaming or barbed bonuses do not work against doors. In this case, I could roll 1 more dice and roll another 1 and still unsuccessfully break open this door. I would need to decide if I wanted to use the weapon before making a roll, however. Whenever you use an item, remember to roll this dice to see if that item breaks. It's a 1 in 6 chance that your item will be broken. If I was able to successfully bash through this door, if I rolled something like this, I would then change this token to the bashed icon and reveal the next room. You can also bash through walls. To do this, you would need an item with the bashed ability. Bashing through walls is harder as you can only ever roll 1 die, and no bonuses can be applied to this dice roll. In the case of a tie of bashing a wall or a door, the wall or door will always win. The flail bonus cannot apply to bashing down walls or doors. If you were successful with your bash, you simply put a bashed door marker in that spot and reveal the door on the other side. Another action you can do is to use an item, such as this compact mirror here. This item would let you look under the door and reveal the room on the other side. Let's now move on to attacking a zombie or player. Let's just say we had a scenario like this. On my turn, I may wish to attack one of these zombies. At the beginning of the fight, both sides will get to prepare any weapons for that fight. This includes using whiskies to set items on fire for that battle and ready any items applicable to combat. When player attacks, they always get 2 basic dice for combat plus any bonuses from their weapons. This includes if you're the attacker or the defender. If you're attacking zombies, zombies get dice equal to how many zombies are in the room, up to a max of 5. Zombies can never exceed over 5 zombies in one room, and when they do get to 5 zombies, they become a horde. Let's in this case say that the green player wishes to attack 2 zombies using their barbed broken table leg. The green player will get 1 additional attack dice from the broken table leg, and be able to apply the barbed bonus to one of those dice. Here are 3 dice for the green player, and because there are 2 zombies in the room, they get 2 dice. Because they're using an item, we can also roll the item dice to see if the item breaks during the combat. We roll all these together, and now we compare the results. When you're comparing the results, put your dice in a line like this, and match them up against the highest result of each pair. So your 2 highest dice on both sides will compare against each other, then the 2 second highest dice will compare against each other, then the 2 third highest dice will compare against each other. For each set of dice, we'll need to inflict a point of combat damage. For this first pair, the zombie would normally win ties against the green player and inflict 1 point of damage against them. If this was to happen, the green player would either need to select some armor to take that damage on, or lose 1 pip of health. If you ever take health damage from a zombie, you get Contagion, flipping this token over. When you get Contagion, you'll have to roll a dice at the start of every one of your future turns, and on a 6 you'll take 1 additional health point of damage. This can be cured by the antiviral item, which is included in some scenarios. However, in this case, because of my barbed bonus from my barbed wire, I can increase the pip of any single die during a combat action. So I'm going to increase this 4 into a 5. causing me to win this battle, and now one zombie will take damage. And each zombie only has one life, so that kills one zombie. I then compare the next two dice. I am higher again, so another zombie would die. And if there was a third zombie in this room, we would then compare these two dice. Any dice you have in excess of your opponent immediately does 1 damage as well. And that is attacking. So attacking players works in a similar way. However, there are a few things to take note of. The defender of the attack gets to pick a weapon to defend with. Again, you'll compare results like this, doing damage to whoever exceeded the other person's dice roll. There are a few weapon bonuses to take note of. Someone is using a Flail Weapon, it will win ties. It's the same with zombies as well. Barbed Weapons we've already gone into, and Flaming Weapons. Flaming Weapons work the same as Barbed Weapons, but are only applicable for the round that the item was set on fire. If the green player was to attack the red player in this situation, the zombies will get an attack of opportunity only on the green player, because they are the one performing their action, and the green player did not attack a zombie with their action in the same room as a zombie, so an attack of opportunity is triggered against them. Now let's discuss attack of opportunity. Attack of opportunity is only applicable to zombies. Every zombie in the same room as the person who performed the action will attack that person. The player getting attacked can defend in the same manner as a normal combat. However, any damage that they cause to the zombie will not get applied. Also, some weapons that will give you a ranged attack. If we look over here, we have a handgun. Ranged weapons will have a range listed on the bottom, and this is a straight line through open or bashed doors. So this pistol with a range of 2, a green player could shoot this 1, 2 spaces away and perform attacks against this zombie. Ranged attacks are defended in the same way as melee attacks, however, any damage done back to the attacker is not applied, just like attacks of opportunity. Ranged weapons can be used to attack zombies in the same room as you, however, you couldn't shoot this zombie and this zombie on the same turn. You can only target one room full of zombies on your turn. Players also can create Molotov Cocktails by combining whiskies and filthy rags together. When you play a Molotov Cocktail, you'll pick a room and put this disaster token in there. Every creature in the room targeted by the Molotov Cocktail will need to defend against a basic 2-die attack. That includes players and zombies if they're in the same room. Zombies each get 1 defense dice and players get 2. After the attack, the disaster token is placed in the room and this room can no longer be searched. The Molotov Cocktail gets discarded. There are some actions in the game that take up 2 actions to use. These are the last 2 actions I haven't gone into yet. First one is Flee, and Flee can be done once per game. Flee, you'll need to spend your Flee token, which is this token here. And what Flee allows you to do is to leave a room full of zombies into an adjacent room without provoking attacks of opportunities from those zombies. The other thing players can do on their turn is to barricade a door. To place a barricade, you need an open door or bashed opening, and then you'll spend 2 actions to place a barricade token on this location. Barricades slow down encroaching hordes and slow down players as well. It now requires 2 actions to move over a barricade. 1 action moving into the barricade and another action moving into the next room adjacent to it. Once someone crosses the barricade on the following round, that barricade will be removed from the game. If someone is in a barricade, they block that passage for other players. Players in a barricade cannot be attacked by zombies in the adjacent room. They also stop players from attacking them with melee weapons, but they can be shot at with ranged weapons. And no creature or player is able to pass through that barricade while that player is in there. Barricades come in 3 flavors as well. There's a basic one like this one. You can also have fire barricade, which if you combine whiskey with doing the barricade action, will cause a flaming barricade to appear. Anyone who crosses a flaming barricade will lose 1 life point. You can also get barbed barricades, which is the same thing as fire barricade, but they only take 1 action to construct, so players will be able to build a barbed barricade and move into it if they wish on the same turn. That's all the actions explained. You can check from page 13 in the manual for a list of actions. Now let's just assume that all players have just taken a turn and now it's moved on to the zombie turn. On the zombie turn, they do the following things. The first thing zombies do on their turn is to attack any survivors in the same room as them. If there is more than 1 survivor, randomly determine which survivor they will attack. If the zombies didn't attack anyone, if the zombies have turned into a horde, which is when 5 zombies are in the same room, they will attempt to bash the door down. They will automatically bash the door open adjacent to them. Hordes are created when 5 or more zombies build up in the same room. Rooms can only have a max of 5 zombies. Hordes are simply 5 zombies altogether, and if hordes take damage, replace them back down with the appropriate number of zombies. So if a horde took 2 damage, 3 zombies would be placed back into that room. If zombies didn't attack or bash, zombies will attempt to move. Will attempt to get to the nearest survivor following the most open pathway. In this case, this zombie would move towards this red survivor as it is the nearest. This zombie is an equal distance away between these 2 survivors. In this case, the first player gets to decide which way this zombie goes. First player is green, and I believe they're going to send the zombie down towards red down here. And now these 2 zombies would attempt to move. These 2 zombies, because of the barricade here, these 2 zombies will move into this barricade, and then on the next turn they will move out of this barricade into this adjacent room. So the barricade is slowing them down. Zombies never open the way to new rooms and will never break through walls. The next thing the zombies do will spawn. Simply place a zombie in every empty room that has a handprint on it. So in this case it would be this room here, and this room here. Zombies in a barricade aren't considered to be in these rooms. For whatever reason, a 6th zombie was placed into a room. On its next turn it would attempt to leave that room, and only 5 of the zombies would ever attack a survivor. Just a small correction during setup, all the exit cards should have been placed in a line like this, just like the start row cards. One of these tiles will have the exit on it. When a player reaches an adjacent square and opens or bashes in a door to an exit room, they reveal this tile and then roll a d6. You then place that many zombies in that room. If you roll a 6, you have to re-roll this dice, as 6 zombies cannot be placed in a room. The first time a survivor enters an exit row room, a search card is drawn from the top of the deck and provided to the survivor. If it's an item card, that survivor will pick it up, and if it's an event card, it will automatically trigger. Players will look along this row for the exit door. If you find this room with the exit listed, this is where you can escape to the helicopter. The exit door works like any other door to get through. Upon exiting the exit door, that player's game has finished, and they would be considered a winner if they were amongst the first few players to get there. When revealing every exit row tile, you always need to roll that d6 and always reveal a search card the first time someone moves in there. When you die, you tip over your playing piece and immediately drop any non-broken items in the room that you died in. On the next zombie spawn stage, you will come back as a zombie. Dead players do not control their own zombie for the rest of the game. However, if they were the first player, they still remain being first player. Players don't have any max health, and your health is tracked here. You start with 6 tokens. However, if you were to gain any more health, that's fine. You can get as many health as you like. That same goes for armor. And with that should be everything you need to know to play Just Run. I'll quickly just go over some of the variants at the back of the rulebook that you can add to your game. Some of the variants are Cooperative Mode, where all players can escape as long as they have 1 health left. There's a more cooperative mode where you only win if everyone makes it out alive. Competitive was the one I've just explained. This is the basic variation. Long play lets you add more tiles to the board, giving you a longer run to the exit. Fast zombies increases the difficulty of the zombies. The safer variant lets you shuffle the 5 vaccine cards into the search deck, giving players a way to cure their contagion. It's also worth checking out the many different scenarios at the back of the book. The one I've explained is Get Out, but there are other scenarios such as rescuing survivors, finding the cure, and hunting and exterminating zombies. I'll leave you to discover all of these options. However, as you can see, Just Run offers a wide variety of play modes to change up your game and suit different play styles. If you enjoyed this video, please like and sub to the channel. It will go a long way towards encouraging me to keep making more videos like this. Thanks for watching.